We got father-son duo up here.
There you go. How about that?
Yeah. Hey, Don, just quickly, what's the deal on the kiddie carnival? It goes still 3 nights a week?
3 nights a week. We're halfway through. We go through the 30th of July this month.
Ooh, better hurry up and get out
We're
there.
halfway through.
About how many kids and parents are there on any given 3 days, y'all?
You know, we've talked about this among ourselves. We don't know, because sometimes you can't walk on the ground, and so we've never counted them. But we're going to have to do something, because some nights the lines are so long for the rides, kids just don't get to ride any.
Aww.
So but that's a good problem.
That's a good problem.
That's a good problem.
My neighbors tell me the other day his brother's daughter got 2 kids live in Dallas, and her husband works for what's the airline out there? Eastern,
Southwest,
one of them.
American.
American,
Yeah.
and said they've got all the Six Flags over Texas and everything, but she flies her kids because I guess they fly here to Athens for kiddie carnival.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, we've never been.
What?
I've never been I've been during the days, but we want to take her one of these days. Never have. But anyway, all right, Don, thanks for filling us in on that. All right, what are you talking about today?
All right. I told you I got an email. I've been waiting 5 years.
5 years.
I got an email last week that said I got tickets to the Masters.
Ooh.
I have been
3 years ago.
yeah, they're a little late. Yeah, I had been. They do this online thing where you go in and register just to get in a drawing, and I got Monday practice round tickets, and I cannot wait. It's a place I've always wanted to go.
So after 5 years, you never followed up with them after 5 years or anything?
They just send you. No, you do it every year. That's the thing. You have to register every year, and so every year I'd get an email that says, "Hey, sorry, you didn't make it." So last week I'm sitting there reading it and went, "Am I reading this right?" I think I just got tickets to the Masters.
Yay. Do
Yeah.
not carry your phone.
Yeah, do not talk on a cell phone down
You
there.
can't carry your phone, but because I'm going in a practice round, I can carry a camera on the grounds.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I told you about how my buddy Bob Labby.
Yeah, that's
Bobby
Labby
goes there.
did.
I don't know if Bobby's listening this morning, but Bobby had tickets to a practice round.
Okay.
There's a couple of his best friends with him, and it says no cell phones whatsoever.
Right.
So anyway, one of the guys gets his cell phone, goes by. I guess there's a line of phones or something down there.
Okay.
And the guy's on his phone by these phones. Threw him out, not threw him out, but escorted him out. He had to wait out. Bobby gets blackballed. He can never get tickets again down.
Tickets were in his name.
His
Oh,
name.
yeah.
So-
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty serious about
Well, that
that.
was a short segment today, Dee. Thank you.
Well, I mean, that's the first thing. Just did a new podcast, came out yesterday, an interview with Andy Andrews.
Yeah, the motivational speaker.
Yeah. Had a good time talking with
Did you
him.
go talk to him, or did you talk to him on the phone?
We did it on the phone. He lives down in Orange Beach.
Is that where he lives now? And He's from Alabama, right?
He is. He grew up. His dad was a pastor, was a minister of music, and grew up in different churches in Alabama and Mississippi. But then his parents both died within 4 months of each other when he was 19. His mom died of cancer, and his dad was killed in a car wreck, and he ended up homeless, living under the pier at Gulf Shore State Park. And so now he lives on Ono Island.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, so things have turned
he's
around.
about my age, isn't he?
Scan.
Not quite. Andy's 57.
Okay, I've read a couple things on him. He's supposed to be a real good motivational speaker.
You know, he is, and he started off as a stand-up comedian. He didn't even, and he opened, you remember back when Joan Rivers was going to be that's who he opened for. And he opened for Cher, and he opened for Kenny Rogers, and ended up writing the book, The Traveler's Gift, which is what got him started. And he's written 2 or 3 more.
Bestseller, wasn't it?
Yeah, it still is. It's still in hardback, which is unbelievable after 15 years or however long it's been out. I'm also going to interview his manager who lives in Franklin in a couple of weeks, and he was telling me every 60 seconds, somewhere in the world, somebody's buying an Andy Andrews book.
Really?
Wow.
Now think about that for a second.
Wait a minute.
Somewhere.
Every 60 seconds.
Every 60 seconds, somewhere in the world, somebody's buying an Andy Andrews book.
Huh.
Now, if you just, the average
I've
author...
read his book, but are they that good?
They're pretty good. If you like history. Now, The Traveler's Gift
history.
is, you'll really
I
like
don't do
that.
fiction. I'm a non-fiction person.
This is all, it's set, it's kind of unusual the way Andy wrote it. He's talking about the things, the lessons that he's learned to be successful, and he tells them in the context of going back in history and being taught by like Abraham Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, and he puts them in the context of whatever was going on at the time. It's a really, really good book.
Okay, I knew that was the name of it, but I haven't ever read that.
Yeah, it turned out good, and he's you never know how some of these guys are going to be, and this was kind of when I knew Andy was going to be a good guy. When he called me, the number wasn't blocked. I was like, well, okay, then he's just kind of regular guy. He's got 2 sons, 16 and 13. Just really, really good guy. And then yesterday I interviewed former Alabama offense coordinator Dave Rader. And that show will be up in probably 3 weeks. And I did not know he came to Alabama with Perkins when they took over for Coach Bryant.
Perkins was a disaster.
You know, it was just, he was set, there was nobody going to be successful in that spot.
Took down the tower.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Hard
asked,
to get along with.
and well, Ray's always been hard to get along with, but I asked Dave about, I said, you know, the big thing was about the tower, what happened. He said, look, the idea was he was going to take it down and then put it up somewhere so people could see it. He said he was in a no-win situation. If he took it down, he got in trouble, and if he left it up, they were saying you're trying to be Coach Bryant. But there was nobody that was going to succeed in that spot.
Oh, yeah,
But what I didn't know was Coach Bryant handpicked him. That he's the one that he wanted him to take over for him. I had no idea that had ever happened. I'd always thought he wanted Gene Stallings. I never knew that he wanted that Perkins was his pick to take over.
I can remember being down there with Rick Davis interviewing Coach Bryant at the tower. He just got up and walked off. Just
left
up
you.
the tower. You know that supposedly Joe Namath was the first player ever invited up into the tower.
Yeah,
when he
that's what
first
I've
got
always heard too. And that's when everybody knew he was really a big deal. But it was funny because when they recruited him, Schnellenberger was the quarterback coach, and that's who recruited him, drove him down because he couldn't get in Penn State.
Right. That HBO special on Joe Namath is
Still
one of the
love to
great.
watch it.
I can't record it. I think Zach illegally recorded it for me on a DVD. But
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
the Joe
my
Namath thing?
goodness.
Oh,
Gee,
Dee,
Really?
Have you seen it?
I seen it.
And it was on
Sits there in the
HBO?
chair.
Yeah.
He just sits there in the chair and tells these stories, and then they interview Snellenberger.
Like a
And, you know Gayla McCullough, the cosmetic surgeon
Yeah.
who's got the billboards at Gulf Shores? He
Yeah.
was the lineman or center. for
Yeah.
Namath.
Played center.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
here's
you have to
a
see
funny
that.
story about
That'd be
him.
another good one for you to talk to.
Yeah, I think I've got a connection
Get him
with
to give
him.
us some free work.
But he, you know, he's the one who did Coach Bryant's cosmetic surgery.
Really?
No.
Yeah, Bryant, if you go back and look at some pictures later on in life, you know, he always had
Yeah.
kind of the waddle,
Yeah.
and then magically it disappeared. Galen McCullum's the one who did the
If y'all haven't had a chance,
surgery.
if y'all are Joe Namath fans like I am, if you haven't had a chance to see the Joe Namath thing, it's
really
incredible. It's
really
and they show the video of him whizzing the football and with the Jets and
You
partying
can
and
hear it.
all that stuff. It's really awesome.
Did he ever tell what he got suspended for?
Drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Yeah.
But
He tells on himself.
in the end of his career, they talked with Ben Atkinson and all them with the Raiders, who were their number one enemy.
Yeah.
You know how when Namath would play later in life, you remember this, Don? When they would ease up hitting him, and then they would pick him up
Yeah.
because he had made the NFL what it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the AFL. The
Yeah,
Jets were the AFL when they drafted him, right?
Yeah,
I remember reading, they said at the time he got the largest real money contract in pro sports history.
They
Well,
got
it shows
200.
his apartment and
Oh.
how he has a gay decorator decorated, and then
yeah.
his mother comes in and takes a tour, and he's totally embarrassed because there's
Mirrors on the wall, rotating bed, it was just really good,
Yeah.
really good. So anyway,
That's funny, but yeah, go listen to the podcast. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to do a football special right before football season, and Dave did part of
Getting
that.
quick.
Huh? I know.
Quick.
But I've got him, Bill McDonald, who was the director of sports medicine at Alabama, is going to do an interview with me, and Randy Ross, who was director of football ops there. He's now at SMU. He's going to talk about what it's really like to be in
Talk
college
about a
football.
little football here. I know Saban speaks today, I think at noon on SEC Network. Y'all be sure to watch it. I'll flip over and watch them a little bit now too, since it's getting close to football season. 4 of the 5 number 1 publications have Bama 1. We're number 2 in the other one, Florida State being number 1. We got the 3rd toughest schedule in the nation this year.
Last year it was the toughest.
I think it was. What are you predicting for the mighty Crimson Tide?
We'll know after the first 2 games.
We play USC and like Western Kentucky or something.
because we'll know who the quarterback's going to be. Nick's going to rotate the quarterbacks in and out. You'll know then how good they'll be. I still think they'll win 10 ball games at
So
least.
you're on first name basis with Saban.
Everybody's on first name basis.
Don, thanks
with
for coming
Saban.
up. Tell you